to my channel. Welcome to Frugal Vlogmas Day 6. I can't believe how quickly the days are going. Now today I'm going to get straight into it. Two things have happened today. The first thing was I was going through the cupboard looking for my tableware and things like that, Christmas sort of napkins, tablecloths. And the second thing that happened was I had a conversation with my neighbour this morning while we were walking our dogs. He is 20 years older than me. However, I have older siblings who are close to his age, and so we basically had a very similar upbringing because our parents were sort of similar age, even though there's an age gap between us. So we had sort of similar Christmas experiences. My parents were very old-fashioned anyway, so we always had old-fashioned Christmases, and we were chatting about Christmases gone by when we were younger and how different they are from Christmases today. And one of the things we discussed was tableware, believe it or not. I don't know how we got on to that topic, as you do. I think I might have mentioned I'd been looking at some tablecloths, and we were talking about back in the day when I was a child, and certainly when he was a child, you didn't have special tableware. You didn't have Christmassy tablecloths. You didn't have Christmassy napkins. People probably did, but they weren't the norm. They certainly weren't in my household, and it sounds like they weren't in his either. We used to have a reusable tablecloth. We used to have tablecloth on the table for food table every day. It was just standard cloth tablecloth that you put on. My mum had a few. Obviously one got dirty, put it in the wash, put a clean one on, wash the tablecloth, back it went on the table. And so for Christmas Day we always had a clean tablecloth, but we didn't have a different tablecloth or a special tablecloth. We didn't have Christmassy napkins. We didn't have all these things you can get to put your knives and forks in now. I've seen that people have these covers to go on the chairs that like Santa covers and elf covers, and they have little pocket things to put the cutlery in that are sort of Santas and stuff like that. We didn't have anything like that. We didn't have any Santa shaped dishes to put snacks in or anything like that. It just went on the usual bowls and things that we had. We did have a best dinner set which came out at Christmas. In fact, it came out a few times a year. It was my mum always had this best china dinner set with the matching tureens in a big gravy boat, and it would come out for Christmas dinner, it would come out for Easter Sunday lunch, and it would come out at harvest meal in the autumn. So it would come out at a few times a day, and a year. And if there was a special occasion, like when my nana came to visit, she would get out her best dinner service, and we would use that. So that would come out at Christmas, the best china. But apart from that, we didn't have any special tableware at all. Now I was looking through mine, and now I always buy mine in the January sales, but I'm not going to buy any anymore. I am changing. My phone's tinging. Just ignore that. I know what it is. It's just a family group chat about something. It's nothing. So just ignore the tinging. I'll look at it after. So I'm not going to be doing this anymore. I've decided that I'm not going to be buying disposable tablecloths and napkins anymore. But this is, and I bought this is actually a couple of years ago. I'm not even using them because I was buying a couple and then they were lasting, and yeah, so I have got this wipeable table cover in gold that I got from Wilko's. I think this is when Wilko's was closing down. And this is paper tablecloths. I used to get a few things like this for Christmas, for birthday parties with the children, but because they're now all grown up and left home, I don't do that anymore. But this was £1 when Wilko's is closing down, and again I've used one of the three, so I have got enough in there for another few years. Sometimes we put it around the bottom of the tree. We use a paper or plastic tablecloth around the bottom of the Christmas tree, which I think is what the third one in here went for last year. I've got a couple of these plastic tablecloths that I can't even remember where I've got those from. And I've also got this one, which is a Morrison's paper table cover, which I'm sure I got a couple of years ago. It certainly wasn't last year. I think it was the year before in the January sale. I mean, I have got loads of tablecloths. I don't need them. I don't use a lot of them. So I'm stocked up probably for the next 10 years. Because the other thing that happened was that last year my friend ordered me a tablecloth, a fabric tablecloth, Christmassy one, but I used it as a winter one, and it's got pine cones on it and baubles. Because it was pine cones, she saw it and thought of me. So it's got sort of big pine cones on there and Christmas bits. My husband isn't so keen on it because it's got these little marks on it, like little speckles. I don't know if you can see that. And he kept thinking there were stains on the tablecloth and brushing it. But this is a fabric one, and I just put it in the washing machine and dried it and reused it. And so this is going to be my tablecloth for Christmas now. Forever, I suspect, because I try and make things last as long as possible, and as long as it doesn't get too badly stained that I can't get the stains out, it doesn't get ripped. But it's this, I can't describe the material. It's like almost like a shiny material, so I don't think that's going to rip in a hurry. And hopefully, because it is this slightly shiny, it will not stain. The stains will come out easily. So I'm not buying any more tablecloths at all for a long time. And because this, I try not to buy too many Christmas things because you've got to store them. But this will it folds down really quite small, and it's probably smaller to keep that than to keep those. So I'm not buying any more tableware. But if you are, always look in the sales, because and just keep it, or do what I'm doing, get something that's reusable, and they sell those off in the sales as well. I bought this is a table runner. We have a nice big coffee type table in our living room, and for Christmas I do like to put a runner on it. We were putting a plastic cloth, and then from last year I went, no, I'm not keep buying these all the time. I'm going to get something that I can just reuse. And this was in the sale for £3, and this is really long. We have to fold it in half, and I did wonder about cutting it in half and then sewing it, but I'm not that great at sewing and I didn't want to ruin it, so I just fold it in half so it's extra thick. And then I think somebody did spill a drink on it last year, and we just flipped it over because it was folded in half for the day, and sorted it out another time. This is gorgeous, and this was reduced. This was from Matalan last year, and they'd reduced a lot of their stuff just before Christmas, and I went shopping a bit late and I got that for £3. And again, that is going to last me years and years and years, you know. And the plastic tablecloths now, they're not cheap. They've gone up a lot of money, so it was probably roughly the same price getting those as it is to get these, and this is going to last me, well, forever. So I'm not buying that anymore. I'm going to use my reusables. Same goes for napkins. I seem to have stockpiled lots of napkins. I keep the ones that we don't use from the year before. I don't sort of use them for the sake of them. I think, oh, there wasn't any, they weren't all used. I'm going to keep those. And I get them in sales. And you know what it's like, you put things away and then you think, and I've just had a massive clear out now. In fact, I've got enough napkins probably for the next 10 Christmases, so I'm not buying any more napkins. And then the other thing that happened was, gosh, about 5 years ago now, in Aldi they were selling off loads of packs of Christmas reusable napkins, the cloth napkins, really cheaply. It was just like pence. They had this massive clear out. It was after Christmas, I think it was the end of January, and they were selling all these packs, and I got a load of red ones, and I did get a couple of silver ones as well, and they're really good. I always like to have some napkins around, and because of the colour like this, I got these because I thought they're just sort of silver with stars on, but you could actually use those for occasions other than Christmas. So if I wanted to use them for like a birthday party or something, they would be good. or just a dinner, we have people around or whatever. Anyway, I just thought they were slightly less Christmassy, because the red ones are really nice, but they do have sort of holly type designs on them, although it's not too bad because they're quite faded, but you can see they've got holly on there. I use these sometimes as placemats if I haven't got enough placemats, because of people coming round more than the number of placemats. I use this as a placemat on the table as well. And again, they reuse. I don't have to buy any more of those now for years and years and years. So they can double up as the napkins, placemats, almost put them together and use them as table runners as well. And so I have got all of that. And this was stuff we never had as a kid. As I said, we never had fancy Christmas tablecloths. My mum didn't buy napkins for Christmas. We did have some basic napkins in the house, and everybody had a handkerchief, and that seemed to be, you know, she didn't have confetti on the tables. She didn't have loads of Christmas candles or anything like that. It was probably very sparse compared to today's, but we still had a really nice dinner, and it still came and went, and it wasn't a bad Christmas because of it. I think its expectations now is different. I mean, there just wasn't things about, and there wasn't YouTube and things, and so you didn't see what other people's Christmases were like. You just knew that was your Christmas, and that's what it was. But my neighbour was saying the same thing. There was none of this sort of stuff in his house either, and he still had great Christmases. The other thing is paper plates. Do you know, I've had this pack of paper plates since before COVID. I used to pick them up in sales, and I used to use some of them for parties, birthday parties, and things like that, for themes. And I've had those as well since before COVID, because we were going to have a big family Christmas the one year, and then it got cancelled with COVID, and I've just never used them. And anything I have left over I've kept, so I've got a few bowls and plates in bags, but I've decided I'm not buying that. The children are older now, and I don't need to buy that sort of stuff, so I will use it if I need to use it, and then I'm not going to replace it. One of my best buys ever, I think, were these, and I got these over 20 years ago in Morrison's for about 25p each. They were having a mass clear out. These were in their Christmas selection, Christmas things, but I'm pretty sure that the clear out was about February, March. And I bought quite a few things then, because I remember distinctly because they had packs of gold and silver gel pens, and they were all down to 25p for a pack, and I bought a load of those and used them in party bags for one of the children's birthdays. And I thought these would be great for putting crisps and snacks in for children's birthday parties, and I brought up 5 children. I've done a lot of birthday parties, and I thought, because they're not Christmassy, I mean, their Christmas colours are gold and red, so I can use them for Christmas, which is great, but because they're not sort of Santaed or reindeered or snowmen, they're just great for using for birthday parties. So those have done a lot of parties over the years, and they're still going strong. They're a little bit dusty. I need to give them a good clean out, because they've been in the cupboard for a little while now, because I don't get to do quite so many parties anymore. But I'm going to give them a good wash out and use them for Christmas. So those have been going for years, and that was such a bargain. When I was a kid, this sort of thing didn't exist. We had stuff like this. This is what was affectionately known as the fishy dish in my house. It's got a little chip out of it, but it is ceramic. And my mum used to put snacks in here. We had a few things like this. This is my favourite. I thought, I have inherited a few of her little dishes. I thought I won't get them all out. They're all in the cupboard. But this was my favourite. And this used to come out for all special occasions, parties. I don't know whether we were more careful in the old days or what, because it has lasted. I was always worried about anything breakable with the children. which is why I went for plastic. But no, we've survived with breakables, and this was our favourite. And so this would come out at Christmas with snacks in at the tea table. We didn't have quite as many snacks as we do these days, so maybe that's why we didn't need quite so much tableware. And we also had little glass dishes which she'd put like peanuts and things in, and crisps. I think the crisps just went in a bowl. We didn't have a lot of crisps when I was a kid. There wasn't, Pringles didn't exist and all those types of snacks. We would have, my mum would get some big bags. We didn't have any of the little individual bags. She would just get the big bags. I think it was Benson's. Red bags they were. If anybody knows, let me know in the comments. I'm pretty sure it was a Benson. Big red bag of just ready salted crisps, and she'd put that, and that would be for the family. She'd only just sort of get one, and you'd only have like a handful each at Christmas, and she'd put it in a bowl. Yeah, I think it was Benson's. If you can remember, it was back in the early 70s, and they would be ready salted in a big bag, and that's what we'd have at Christmas. There was no Pringles, there was none of the onion rings and cheese puffs or anything like that. We'd just have ready salted crisps, and she'd put those in a glass bowl, and we'd have a trifle in a glass bowl, and that was Christmas really, and some peanuts and things. And she'd put things like pickled onions in here, and cheese on sticks would go in there, or some peanuts maybe, but it was usually things like the pickled onions and stuff on sticks. And what else did she put in there? Or sometimes some cocktail sausages, or she'd home make sausage rolls. So she would actually make the pastry herself, and then she would get sausage meat from the butchers, or if she hadn't had time to do that, she'd get sausages and skin them and put the sausage in the pastry, and she would home make sausage rolls. They were very nice as well. So she'd do that sort of thing. And yeah, that was it. We didn't have all the stuff, but we still had Christmas. It still came and went. It did not happen because we didn't have a certain tablecloth. And I've decided that I'm cutting right down because everything is getting so expensive, and I don't want to spend it. I had a bit of a no spend year this year, and I'm going to build on that for next year and have an even more frugal year, because there's a lot of changes going on in the house, and so I'm doing things differently. So I'm going down the route of using lots of reusable things and not buying any more, which I don't need anyway, because for some reason I've managed to stockpile loads. I think some things is I bought them in the sales, and I think, all right, and then I don't know what happens. You just sort of think, oh, that's a good buy, and then you think, well, actually I don't need it. So I will be buying a lot less in the January sales this year, because I really want to just use up what I've got. And as I say, I think I've got enough stuff now to last me probably at least 10 Christmases. So there we are. That is what's happening today. I am going to go and wash out all my containers now, and I will probably, because these have been in the cupboard for obviously a year, I am going to probably put them through a quick wash. Just to freshen them up. I only put them on a quick wash because they say they're not dirty, they just need freshening up. And then I will use those all over Christmas. And some of them I use as like for winter as well. I have a tablecloth on my table at the moment. I've got a white clean one. But from last year I put this on and kept it on till I think about February time, just for something different and to get the use out of it, and as a winter tablecloth. And then I went back to my everyday one. It's one of those vinyls that you buy off the roll, and I think they're great. They last me for years, and it's got sort of animals and things on it, and I just love it. So, and you know, if I didn't have this, I would just use that for my Christmas tablecloth, but because, let's say, a friend ordered this for me last year, it's great. I will be using that for our Christmas celebrations. There we are. Thank you for watching. That is me rambling about today and talking about Christmases of the past and what we didn't, some of the things we didn't have. The Christmases of my childhood are unrecognisable to Christmases we have today, and I don't even feel that old. My Christmases were probably slightly more old-fashioned than people of a similar age, my age, their Christmases, because my parents were very old-fashioned and they'd had me late in life, and they had set ideas. They'd had Christmases during the war, and they sort of, I don't think their Christmases changed a lot from that time. They were very frugal and very careful with their money, and they just didn't think we needed all the extra stuff to have Christmas. So we didn't. So thank you for watching. I hope that might give you some inspiration for your tableware, or possibly not. And until next time, let's all try and stay frugal.